Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about rare earths and the recent trade deal that Trump has made with China, and why I think this trade deal is not what you guys think. And I think this trade deal is a big win for China, and I'm going to explain why. So, a few days ago, Trump said in Truth Social, we are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. He added that there will be all the rare earths will be supplied by China upfront, and in turn, US will make certain concessions such as Chinese students to attend US colleges and universities. So at first glance, it looks like propaganda, right? It looks like it doesn't seem right because China are very business minded. Nobody can scam a Chinese. They are very, very business minded. So this deal that Trump is talking about doesn't really look like China is getting any benefit. It looks like America's getting all the benefits, right? America's getting all the tariffs, and they're going to get all the rare earths, and in return, all China gets are Chinese students to go to America. I mean, who cares about that, right? I mean, Chinese students don't even want to go to America anymore. It's not safe for them anymore, right? And so this is propaganda coming out of Trump. You should never ever believe anything that comes out of Trump's mouth. Nothing you should ever believe. So a few days later, some real news start coming out in other sites. So bits and pieces of other news starts coming out, and this was one of them. China did not agree to military use of rare earths. And this is another. China is placing a 6-month cap on export licenses for rare earth elements to American automakers and manufacturers. So let's go back to this window again. So I'm going to talk about this first of all. So, I mean, look, America and Trump mainly. I mean, I don't know what Trump thinks he's doing. I mean, he still believes he's still in his first term. A lot in the world has changed from his first term to now. In the first term, he was placing sanctions and tariffs on China from all directions. And at that time, China was heavily dependent on America. They were buying Boeing jets, they were buying semiconductors, and they were buying loads of stuff from America, and they were dependent. And Trump decided to weaponize everything and decided to sanction and tariff China. He also sanctioned Huawei. I mean, Chinese got really hammered in Trump's first term. And one of the reasons why inflation is such a big thing in America right now, cost of goods in America was very cheap before Trump came in his first term. He decided to, you know, start a trade war with China and the rest of the world, and suddenly everything got expensive. He also cut taxes, and obviously the COVID thing came along as well, and he was printing plenty of money, which caused lots of inflation at the time. And then Biden comes in and inherits a lot of that inflation, and Biden carries on with lots of Trump policies on China as well. And because of that, China decided to bring all the manufacturing home, not rely on American products, not rely on American technology, and they decided to do everything themselves. So they decided to build their own jets, decided to have their own semiconductor supply chain with their own materials, own software, own OS, their own chips. So there's literally is nothing available which is reliant on America anymore. So Huawei has released this OS now, and this OS is a new operating system used on phones, and it's called Harmony OS, and it's also going to be used in laptops as well. So they got rid of Microsoft, they got rid of Google. You know, this is Trump's doing because of all of these sanctions he placed on China. What did he think would happen? I mean, I don't know what America and Trump think in this second term. They think that the world is still unipolar. Yeah, the world was unipolar back in the, you can say 80s, 90s, early 2000s. The world was unipolar. America was the sole superpower at the time. But the world is not like that anymore, guys. China is obviously a superpower. You have Russia, who is a great superpower as well. You have all of EU is, the whole EU bloc together is basically a great power. I wouldn't call them a superpower right now. But yeah, you have all these different blocs around the world who are great in every way, up and coming countries. And so Trump still thinks he's living in the 80s where he can dictate China, he can bully China. It doesn't work like that anymore. And I don't know who's advising Trump at this time. Maybe nobody, to be honest. But he still thinks he can bully China and slap on tariffs on China. Did he not think that China would fight back with the rare earths? America is absolutely panicking, absolutely panicking. America cannot have their own rare earth supply chain. It would take them decades, 20, 30 years, who knows how long. They cannot do it. Not only you have to dig for the rare earths, you have to refine them, and there's a huge supply chain that goes with that. And China is the king for that. So did Trump not think that, China can fight back with rare earths? I mean, does he think that he can just slap tariffs around like candy and expect nothing to happen? This is like playground bullying. You it's like a it's like a bully bullying people around the room, and suddenly when one of the kids fights back and punches the bully, he gets shocked. I mean, what did you expect to happen if you start bullying people around the school? Expect one or two of them at least to fight back. I mean, this is what's happening. This is total imperialism. This is pure white supremacy. I mean, Trump thinks he can do whatever he wants to China, Russia, any other countries, and disrespect them, slap tariffs on them with no negotiation, no thinking, and expect China to do nothing. So China has really hurt America where it hurts. Rare earths is so important to America, guys. The whole military industrial complex, we're talking about a 1 trillion budget here, right? 1 trillion budget, military industrial complex. They need rare earths. You know, the Americans, they love war. They're pushing all these proxy wars and wars everywhere. They feel that they can bomb whichever country they like without UN approval. Recently, like they've done with Iran. They use their proxies like Israel to bomb all the Middle East countries around them. They use Ukraine as a proxy, and they use other countries as proxies throughout the world. United States has started more wars with every other country than the history of the earth, more than the Roman Empire. It's absolutely crazy, guys. So these guys, military industrial complex is very, very important. Obviously, other industries like EV cars and renewable solar. There's obviously other uses for rare earths, but the main thing is for missiles, F-35s. And you can see from the news that Israel was running out of anti-aircraft missiles because they've used pretty much all of them up in 2 weeks fighting Iran. And then America's THAAD missiles used up 20% of the capacity that they've got in the inventory. And they've got no missiles to give to Ukraine. They've run out, and Zelensky has been screaming, and they've got nothing left. They've got no Patriots to give to Ukraine whatsoever. So they desperately need rare earths, especially for the military. And guess what China's done? They said no to military, because China knows if there was ever a war over the province of Taiwan, for example. They do not want these missiles to be used against China. So, what China is doing is absolutely right. And China doing this is also helping their allies, helping countries like Iran, for example. Because they don't have enough rare earths, they cannot have enough interceptor missiles for Iron Dome and Arrow and THAAD, Patriots. And this is why Israel and America had to end the war quickly because they cannot have a long lasting war of attrition with Iran. They just cannot do it. Iran is very, very good at short wars. If you look at sorry, not Iran, Israel. If you look at Israel's history, they've won the 6 Day War only because they were armed to the teeth by the West. They were given unlimited amount of weapons to finish the war very quickly. They cannot last long wars. Israel eh, cannot do it. America cannot do it. So for them, it's very, very important to get rare earths from China. So the military part of the negotiation didn't get anywhere. They did not get one iota of rare earths for the military side. But for the civilian side, they did accept, I believe, a 6 months extension. Where is it? I think it's this one. Um, yeah, here. So China is placing a 6 month cap on export license for rare earth elements to American automakers and manufacturers. So this is purely for civilian use. And China has been clamping down on smuggling. There's a lot of companies who are smuggling rare earths out of China and selling them on the black market. And China has been clamping down heavily on that. So America can't do it on that way. So they have to do it through negotiation. So this is um after I did some investigation, this is my theory, guys. I don't think China really cares about percentage of tariffs, that Trump has been putting on China. Trump has famously said, "Oh, I'm putting all these tariffs on China. China's not tariffing us back enough." It really doesn't matter to China because according to the Chinese, and if you look at all the trade figures, they know decoupling is coming with America. So they have already started decoupling from America. They used to buy a lot of wheat, soybeans from America. Now most of it is they're buying it from from Brazil. And all the oil they're buying it from Canada now, and gas they're buying it from Australia. So China is diversifying, and of course you got Russia as well. You got all these pipelines coming out, um, and all these new pipelines coming through Siberia and Kazakhstan, and I think Power Siberia 1 is already ready. Power Siberia 2 is under construction, and Power Siberia 3 is under planning stage. So all of that is coming still. And so China is diversifying anyway. And a few days ago, China's yuan has been backed by the gold standard. So they're backing the yuan with gold. So Chinese currency is going to really hit the world on a big stage pretty soon. So the point is, America knows they have no cards to play with China, no cards whatsoever. Trump cannot dictate terms and throw tariffs and sanctions on China. That's not going to scare China, and he cannot even threaten them militarily. He cannot even do that anymore. You'll notice the language he's making. He doesn't even threaten any military action whatsoever. So what I think is happening, I think the deal he's made with China is to stop interfering with Taiwan. And I think that's the deal. And the proof is you'll notice that there has been no real escalations happening in Taiwan. Nobody's going to Taiwan and start, not like Biden's time. If you remember with Biden, they used to um, they used to say one thing and do another. One day he's to say something, next day you have Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan, causing friction. Next day you have Blinken talking about Taiwan. Next day you have Biden saying, "Oh, if there's a war, we will get involved and fight China." He said that about 3 times. Nothing like that. And they were sending weapons to Taiwan as well, and they were sending people to train the Taiwanese military and stuff like that. But Trump hasn't done that, if you notice, in the last few months. He's been very, very quiet on the Taiwan front. He's been very quiet on the Philippines front as well. If you notice, the Philippines have become very quiet as well. They've kind of calmed down. So I think what this deal was, China said that China knows they are in the driving seat. They know Trump has got no cards. So what China really wants is not for US to get to interfere with Taiwan and also in the South China Sea with Philippines and things like that. And I think that's the deal. And I say that also because the civilian use of this deal is for 6 months. So if America negates on his deal and starts messing around with Taiwan again and Philippines again and starts messing around with tariffs and other silly things that Trump may do, and I think China will throw away that deal and say, you know what, we're not going to extend this 6 month period. It's over. And I think it's the Chinese who have got the real cards here, and I think it's China that's really playing Trump. And I say that also because Trump, one day in his Truth Social, send out a message saying the Chinese are very hard negotiators. President Xi is a very hard negotiator. He said that in his Truth Social. Sometimes you have to kind of read between the lines of what's happening behind the scenes, not take his not take his word as true value, but you have to kind of see the actions that's happening around him and then make a conclusion. And again, you go back to this original statement. And again, this original statement by Trump is all propaganda. He's there to show that his America's winning, America's is China that's capitulated, which is not true. I think it's America who has capitulated to China on the Taiwan and on South China Sea. And you can see by the proof is in the pudding. There's no America is not really escalating things or causing any trouble in that part of the world. And I think that's what's happening, guys. And I think it's China that's got all the cards. And the American people don't know this. A lot of people around the world don't know this. But you know, the the Chinese are very shrewd businessmen. They will never agree to anything that's not which is disrespectful almost. So this deal that Trump has said is almost sounds disrespectful. I mean, he says he's getting all of that just for the Chinese students to attend US colleges. I mean, come on, doesn't make sense, right? I mean, first of all, Chinese students do not want to go to America anymore because it's not safe. Secondly, Chinese students, there's no advantage for Chinese students to go abroad anymore because it's more advantages as a Chinese students to learn in a Chinese institute. It's much better and more friendly. You get more opportunities. So businesses in China do not look for overseas degrees anymore. They just look for the best, and the best is in China at the moment. So that is not really a card that Trump can play with. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.